Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my DC Raw, the 1100th episode of Raw. Milestone, if you will. Oh, excuse me, I gotta address that. I apologize, I did not do my TNA Impact review last week. I did my Raw, I was already sick then. My allergies were very bad, and they still are. I couldn't talk. Literally, I couldn't swallow, I couldn't talk. I had to try and rest and recover from it. So this weather is alright. It's the pollen count that kills me. So even with medicine. So I wish to apologize. Now, what are we getting this DC Raw? Did we get a good build to Money in the Bank? Well, they did what they needed to for Money in the Bank. But let's be honest here. When it comes to WWE, they will give us a lump of stuff that usually is so much filler that you don't care. You get frustrated with it. Of course, there's good things in it, but it's just a lump of filler. And that's what upsets me. Now, of course, I didn't leave that as my title. You can see what I left as my title. And that will be last in this review. But let's get to this review directly. First thing I'm going to talk about is the Usos. And this is almost like filler now. I'm one of the people, I'm not one of the first, but I'm one of the people have spoken more than a few times about the Usos deserving to get the titles finally. They were the oldest tag team they had left. And that's saying a lot. They've been pairing people over for years, but the Usos have been the longest running tag team they had. That was active on almost every show they had, which is Main Event, Slam, Superstars, Raw, SmackDown, you name it. And I always said they deserved to get the titles at least once and hold it for a while. They deserved it. Now they have become what I was really hoping they would not become. Basically, cookie cutter faces. Now, of course, they can't do anything about it. They're going to go with what they got. Even though they are over with the crowd, they're basically cookie cutter faces. If they switch to a cookie cutter heel, I'll be really angry. If they go off and become like the Wild Samoan heels, oh, I will be happy to see that. I will be happy to see them become Wild Samoan heels, not no cookie cutter heels, and I'm not happy to see them as cookie cutter faces. And you guys tell me below, the new music for Eric and Luke, I don't know if it sounded right. Of course, it's got the whole world in your hands, but in an accordion type of thing, that's what it sounded like. It would have been better for them to get an entirely new type of song, completely separate from Bray Wyatt's song and his catchphrase. Because even though they're his army, it just didn't feel right. Maybe it'll grow on me. I hope it will. But when you see this match, or matches, it wasn't necessary. The first match, you could have Jimmy Uso win. The second match, you could have let Eric Rowan win. It could have been completely fine with that. But having either one win did not hype me for it. Even though the crowd was epic for it, they wanted it. And I'm not saying that the matches were garbage. But I really believe they needed to have one defining winner in this. Having it even, oh, my eyes are itching. Allergies, I'm sorry. Having 1-to-1, they could have done this weeks ago. Why do it on the go-home show to Money in the Bank? It wasn't needed. Have one guy win, one guy lose, giving momentum to one team. This just didn't feel right. That's just me. Now, Bray Wyatt segment just after that. I love Bray Wyatt. I'm not going to lie about that. But after he's lost so many times, I'm almost to the point of not caring. And I love the guy. He's got a great look. He's got a great attitude. He goes well in the ring. He's charismatic, but he's lost his ass every single match against John Cena and everyone that he's worked with. I don't give a fuck. And that upsets me. So then I don't want to even care about the guy, but I still love him. That's just me. Now, Bo Dallas versus Titus O'Neil. Oh. I felt sorry for Titus because not only did he get his ass handed to him by Adam Rose once, it was twice on SmackDown. And yes, I've begun watching SmackDown even though I can't stand the Raw rewinds. This is what makes me angry. That's the reason why I stopped watching it completely. Seeing the Raw rewinds throughout the night made me feel like, hey, you got almost 8 to 10 minutes of work here for your talent. Why are you using it to show something else? Let them see it on fucking Raw. Let them see it on Saturday Morning Slam, if they still do it. Or Wednesday Night Main Event. Well, it's actually Tuesday Night Main Event now. You get my point. Take that off of SmackDown and let your talents grow. And that's the reason why I stopped. But I've begun to watch it again. I don't know if I ever do reviews on it again. But I didn't want to stifle myself, not seeing the full picture. But Believe wins with a shiner on his eye, and they didn't fully explain it. I felt sorry for Titus because he's got the great build, he's got a good charisma, he can go pretty decent in the ring, but they're doing nothing with him, and that makes me upset, particularly seeing that Bobby Lashley, the man got the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and he deserved it. Titus O'Neil could actually do something for the WWE, and they're doing nothing with him. Hell, give Mark Henry, my boy, give him the damn title. He'll run with it. Look what happened with the world title. In 2011 to 12, he dominated. People watched the show. That just upset me. I feel sorry for Titus, but it's understandable why they did it for Bo Dallas. And I'm not against Bo. I'm enjoying the Bo Lee movement. Now, RVD versus Seth Rollins. Now, the match was good and it did what it needed to do. It promoted two things. No, actually three things. One, it made RVD still look relevant. Sorry. Two, it made Seth Rollins look to a point relevant. But to be honest, RVD should have just let him have it. Three, Dean Ambrose comes out, kicks Seth Rollins' ass, cuts a very good promo, and at the end of it, he gets himself into Money in the Bank. And that is the ladder match contract match. Sorry, I kind of doubled myself, but you get my point. And next to having those two, you got RVD, you're going to have, who is it? You got RVD, you got Swagger. I told you Swagger was going to get into a bank ladder match. I did say that. Bad News Barrett is upsetting. I'm sorry. He just is. Of course, Dolph Ziggler's in it like he always is, and Kofi Kingston's in it. But when you look at Bad News Barrett, they could be doing so much with this man. When you look at Bad News Barrett versus a Dolph Ziggler, I was hoping Dolph would take the title off him. You know why? Not because Dolph can do something with it, because I was hoping they would move Bad News Barrett up and do something with him. Unless they're actually going to let Bad News Barrett get the Money in the Bank contract and then cash it in to be the first undisputed champion and the IC champion. That would be a great homage to the Ultimate Warrior. I love my Ultimate Warriors. We will go and we will prevail. Sorry, that was not necessary when I still have allergy problems. Woo! That hurt. Excuse me. But you get my point. If Bad News Barrett is keeping that title because he's getting Money in the Bank, and then they're going to let him actually go after the world title, I mean the WWE World Heavyweight title, and actually win it, the man will be the first undisputed, well, in a sense, it is the World Heavyweight Championship and the IC Championship ever. And I wouldn't mind seeing that if they push him. But I don't believe they will. Now, I might as well get this done. these two things done. The 4-on-3 handicap match from SmackDown. I did see it. I didn't believe the heels were going to lose, and it was Roman Reigns who won. Fine. Alright. But then when they repeat it, I'm thinking they wouldn't be stupid enough to let the heels lose again and not hype for the ladder match. And guess what we get? Sheamus wins over Sandow. Roman Reigns loses over ADR, and not Sandow. You can see how upset I am. Sheamus wins over Cesaro. I'm sorry I said Sandow. I'm doing that one next. But you get my point. Why would they give their faces back-to-back wins? You're trying to hype for a ladder match. Sheamus is a face. Roman Reigns is a face. Do you actually believe the heels, any one of them could win? Or Bray Wyatt can win? Honestly, I don't see anything that came out of that properly. It was bullshit. Even though Kane has now been added in there and he destroyed everyone, I found credibility with Kane gone months ago when they tried to rush him back without building him properly. So I'm really not fond of this ladder match. I'm sorry, I'm not. Maybe the contract ladder match, I am actually interested to a certain extent. But this one, to a point, the only thing I'm thinking of, only two people that would be best to get the title. That would be Eric Rowan's, and I would love to see either, well actually three people, Bray Wyatt or Cesaro. These three guys who are the real future of the WWE, excuse me, I want to see them get the shot. But what are we going to get? A John Cena? A Randy Orton? A Sheamus? ADR? I don't see anything interesting there. But this is what we're getting. So let's move on to the Sandow segment with Biggie Langston, who was doing church in the WWE. Look, I can understand one of the reasons why they keep throwing him out there. People are not interested in him, so they're giving him things to do. But Sandow could have been a top heel by now. He may have not won the title. They may think, well, he's a great heel, but he's not ready for the title yet. Fine, you could have left him in the main event, ladies and gentlemen. Sandow has charisma. He has actually good ring presence, good ring work. He knows how to talk. He's an educated man. I would love to see him in the main event as a heel, even if he never gets a title immediately. But this is funny, but it's sad. It's sad to see Sandow in this predicament, even though he does sell it well. And Biggie Langston kicks his ass. But then Biggie Langston decides he's going to do some church. I'm going to show that America is going to rise to the occasion. We are going to show the world that we can and will dominate. And the WWE will lead the United States of America with me in the lead, Biggie Langston. And then Rusev comes out and promotes the kick. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, my batteries like to die on me in mid-sentence. But you get my point. Seeing Biggie Langston get his butt kicked by Rusev was alright, but now what are they going to do? But seeing Biggie Langston trying to do church in the WWE was damn funny. He really wanted to try and do that Sunday sermon. I'm not Christian, but I did grow up in a Christian family, and I saw that a lot with my cousin who became a bishop. Yes, he did. Now, let's move on to the Naomi and Alicia Fox segment. Having a Cameron and a Paige at ringside. It looks like it's a possibility the Funkadactyls are going to be broken up. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are going to say, like, I care. Who cares about the Funkadactyls? Who cares about Cameron? Who cares about Naomi? I do. And you should as well. Look, let's be honest here. And I'm going to say this truly honestly. If you saw the Slug Daddy's video on seeing that, excuse me, seeing that Bobby Lashley became the World Heavyweight Champion for TNA, which is great. But you don't see that in the WWE. The closest we get to a black champion has been a diva. Now, we've had Alicia Fox as a Divas champion. We have. Now, how long has it been since we had a Divas champion who's been black? Quite a long time. So it's a good possibility that if we're really lucky, the WWE will actually give Naomi the title. And on top of that, we will have an actual black feud. Now, I'm not racist. I'm not prejudiced. I'm a mixed black man. I'm mixed. I'm a mixed American. If you're going to say black, I could say black. I'm going to be a mixed Puerto Rican. I'll say a mixed Puerto Rican. A mixed Native American. I'm a mixed Native American and Chinese. I have multiple backgrounds. And I see this, and I say this is something you don't see often. We're going to have one black woman possibly having a feud with another black woman. The most we had with actual black on black feuds was Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, and that was last year. And it was never highlighted or spotlighted properly. It's not something we normally see, but it would be nice to see it. And I'm trying to see this from the point of view of something we don't see, not something we've seen over and over again, that they don't build the divas properly, they don't let the more younger talent do something. I'm seeing it from the point of view that we're getting something different. We're getting Naomi, who's a face, dealing with now a possible turning heel Cameron, who looks like she has turned heel completely, who now will possibly face Naomi if she doesn't win the title, or if she does. Now, I'm hoping Naomi will win the title because she does deserve it. She got broke in her eye by a Oksana. I was angry at Oksana, and maybe to a certain extent I am still a little mad at her, but it's kind of hard to be angry at such a beautiful woman. That she's actually, from what I've heard, she's not a bad person. You can tell me below. But you get my point. Give us something different, even if it's minimal. I want to see this. It wasn't badly constructed. Naomi got her butt kicked and then she won over Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox always gets her butt kicked now. And that covers into the last segment of this review. But you get my point. I want to see this. This is one of the few things on this Money in the Bank I am actually interested in seeing. What's going to happen with Paige if she does lose? Is Naomi going to get attacked by Cameron? That's what I want to see. Now, finally, I believe I covered everything. I'm now covering the one I was waiting for. As you can see below, mud wrestling. Vicky Guerrero. Looks like her stint in the WWE was coming to an end, so they wanted to give her something special. I could be wrong. You guys can tell me below. She just wanted to take some time off. But for what I understand, she's finally done with the WWE. She's been there for a while now, and she wanted to leave. So they decided to give her this angle. Now, I said Brie Bella versus Stephanie at SummerSlam, which could still happen. But in this case, it's Stephanie versus Vicky Guerrero. Stephanie McMahon versus Vicky Guerrero. Everyone's going, what? We're going to see two myths go at each other? Not being insulting. Saying that they are. A lot of people still think Vicky's hot. A lot of people really think that Stephanie is hot with those big boobs. But in the end, they were hoping to see some flesh in the mud. Or actually in the ring. That's what they originally thought. But when they decided to do mud wrestling, and they called out Layla, Alicia, who just got her ass kicked, and then Rosa Mendes, and I wish to say that Rosa did the right thing. As a platinum blonde, she looked terrible. It just wasn't her style. Now she looks like a dirty blonde. And she actually looks way better. She looks beautiful that way. And I hope she keeps that look. But in the end, what do we get? Rosa gets thrown into the mud first. Alicia last in the mud. My gorgeous Layla, who I still am in love with, gets thrown in there and just looks hot in that mud. I'd run around in the mud with her. But in the end, what do we get? A yes for a Vicky for a second, a Stephanie throwing her into the mix and getting modified, and then finally what everybody was waiting for, seeing the myth Stephanie McMahon thrown into the mud where you can see her boobs truly. They did a good job on that boob job because you can see how big those suckers are. In the end, everyone was happy in this respect, even though they probably, I'm sure more than a few people think this is cheesy, this is garbage. Yes, in a sense it is, but it is something different. We don't get a lot from Stephanie McMahon. It's usually Vince or her husband, Triple H, that does something. So in the recent years, she hasn't done anything. So this is actually something different. Is it a lot of good television? To a point it is. So I'll say this about this go-home show, the Money in the Bank. They hyped the Money in the Bank ladder match, which I didn't really care. Seeing at 4-on-3 sucked. They hyped the contract Money in the Bank ladder match, the traditional one, which I am actually interested in seeing. Naomi versus Paige, I am interested in seeing. I don't know what they're going to do with Biggie Langston. I hope they'll do something with him. And the Usos, they're going to be on the show, but I don't know how to feel about that. And the thing that upsets me the most, finding out that Daniel Bryan is going to have an interview on the kickoff show. It'll get ratings, it'll be seen, but I think it sucks. So I hope you enjoyed this Zane's View. Please give me a comment below. I'm sorry about my allergies. This is going to happen during the summer. There's nothing I can do about it. Next to my leg, my allergies is my problem. But I will do my best to do better. Y'all have a good day. Peace out.